Hi everyone, my name is Carel. Everybody say hi, Carel. The name of our company is Paint with Faith, and we're a motivational painting company. We believe that you can do all things, and we want you to believe that too. So repeat after me. If I believe, I can achieve. Okay, say it like you really mean it this time. Let's try that again. If I believe, I can achieve. That was much better. See, we believe that there are no mistakes in art. So if you feel like you've made a mistake, if you've accidentally put a little extra paint on the canvas, don't worry about it because there are no mistakes, only room for more opportunity and creativity. You might just end up with a happy accident. We also believe that anything you want to do in your life, any dream, any goal, any desire you might have, you can do it with just a little motivation, some guidance, and some faith in yourself. Because our motto is, your life is a canvas. Paint it with faith. So snap your fingers just like this. Snap with me. So if you hear anyone around you saying anything negative, or if you're thinking to yourself any negative thoughts, any bad thoughts, we need you to just snap out that negative energy, okay? Because we want to paint in a room filled with pure positivity today. Now, are you ready to paint? Awesome. So let's make sure we have all our supplies. You're going to need 2 brushes, a bowl of water to wash your brushes, a napkin or a paper towel or a washcloth to dry your brushes, some paint, and your canvas. And remember, this is called a canvas, not a canvas, because you can do it. So it's called a canvas. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do, I'll come a little closer. The first thing we're going to do is take some black and take your big brush. And we're going to start in the center. You don't want too much paint on your brush. And we're just going to go back and forth just like that, from left to right. And keep going, even when your brush looks like it's getting a little dry. You don't want to redip it because we want all that white space to show. We want it just coming through the black, just a little peek of that white. If it's not working, you can redip it again, but remember, we don't want too much. You want to really show that texture. Can you see the texture of the canvas coming through there? That's what we want to see. And in art, all that white space, anything that we don't use, that's called the negative space. Some teachers, they tell you to cover up all that negative space, but today, we want to see it. Especially in the middle somewhere around here. We want to see just a little of that negative, the white space in there. And you can go ahead and keep adding a little more black. Remember, you don't want too much. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want some black texture in there. Just black and white. Remember, you can keep adding a little more, but You don't want to add too much to cover up that white negative space in there. Just gently go over it. And if you've accidentally made it a little more solid, that's okay. It'll still work, so don't worry about it. Okay, next we want some dark green. So don't wash your brush yet. We want to keep that black because we're going to take just a little bit of black and put that to a clean part of your plate or your palette. And then we're going to take some green. You want more green than black because you don't want it being too dark. But we want to mix that together and it'll give us a nice darker shade of green. Do you see the difference? This is like a forest green. And that's good because we're gonna put kind of like a forest in the background. So with that dark green, we're just gonna cover up that top section that we have. So you can just go back and forth and just overlap it a little and just fill in that whole top section. And this time we do want to cover up all the white space, all the negative space. So this darker green is gonna be like a base for a forest, just a base color. It's just a part of the plan. Because anything you want to do, you need a plan, right? Everyone needs a plan. You know, a designer uses sketches. An architect might use a blueprint. A pilot has a specific route. It's all a part of the plan. Now, if you have some extra green, dark green on your brush, you can go ahead and just brush that out at the bottom down here. Get as much out as you can. We don't need to wash our brush yet because it's good to have all these colors blend together. That's going to give us some consistency. So the next color we want to make is a blue-green color. So let's take some blue and we're just going to move that to a clean part of our plate again, or palette. And we're going to take some green and just mix that into the blue. And this time you want to have more blue than green. And that'll give us a blue-green color. So green is actually a secondary color because you can mix two colors to get green. Do you know what two colors those are? Blue and yellow, right. So if you mix blue and yellow, you get green. But blue-green is a tertiary color. That means it comes third because you would have to mix blue and green to get blue-green. So we're going to take that blue-green and we're going to fill in the bottom, the whole bottom section. And you can go over all that green space that you've gotten off your brush at the bottom. You can just cover that up. It should just blend in together. It's such a pretty color too. So just fill in all the bottom. Remember, it's okay if you go over the black a little. There are no mistakes. And you want to go from left to right in this bottom section. You don't really want to go up and down because you want to get a certain effect when you go left to right, just back and forth. Remember, this time we're filling in all that white space. So no more negative space. Just like what we're painting in. We don't want to paint in a negative space anymore. No more negativity. Just make that nice and even. Okay, so when you're done with that, you can go ahead and wash out your big brush. Just wiggle it in the water. And then dry it on your washcloth or your paper towel or napkin, whatever you have. Make sure you get all that blue-green out of it and dry it off so it's not wet anymore. So next we're going to take some white and we're actually going to make a waterfall. So we're going to start somewhere where the black meets the green, somewhere right here. And you could put it in the center if you want. You could put it somewhere closer to the right, to the left, anywhere that you want it. But we're just going to make a line, just a line of white. Now this part is really important because if we have too much paint on our brushes, it's not going to work. So what you want to do is just wipe off the excess paint. You can wipe it on your washcloth or on your plate if you have some clean space on your plate. Just wipe off that excess. And we're going to start in that line from one side and just drag that paint down. And just keep going across and dragging the paint down. Just downwards. This is going to be our water just falling down the rocks. Do you see that effect it gives when the brush is dry? It gives it, you can see the texture of the canvas coming through. And that gives it a nice water flowing effect. And we're just going to keep doing that throughout all of this middle section. And remember, we start off with a little line. You can even make some smaller now, some bigger, some higher, lower. But always remember to wipe off that excess paint before you drag it down. Because if you have too much paint, you won't be able to see the texture coming through. So we're just going to keep dragging. This could be another layer of rocks. We can even make this one a little higher. Just like that. And we're just going to keep doing that until we get all the way to the bottom. So here I want just a smaller one. I don't really have too much paint on my brush, so I can drag right away. But always remember, if you have a lot of paint, wipe it off first. Now you might wonder why that black is still showing through, and you can actually go back over it if you want. Just go back over it and make the white a little brighter towards the top. If you feel like the black is showing too much. But you want to do each section separately. But it's okay to have that black showing through because that's just the rocks. You know, waterfalls have rocks behind them. That's what the water is flowing over. So it's just the rocks behind them. And it's not always gonna show the water alone. Sometimes the water can get transparent and you can see the rocks. So let's just make this another big layer right here. Remember, each layer doesn't have to be perfectly even. They could be different widths. This one could even be a little higher because the rocks are everywhere. So that one could be a little higher right there. And then there's another level there. And then maybe down here, we can put just a small one. And then maybe another small one here and another small one here. Remember, wipe off the excess paint before you drag. And we could just drag these ones all the way down to the bottom. Actually, we'll connect these. This little one, we can just drag all the way down. We can drag down the center just to cover that middle space. Remember, you can always keep adding more white if you want it brighter. If you feel like there's too much of that black in the background showing through. Just make sure you don't have too much paint. There's actually a really famous waterfall where I'm from, but it's not as steep as this one is. It has different levels, and you can actually climb it. It's really cool. You can climb it all the way to the top, and you can stop on the different levels and just hang out, enjoy the water, and just take your time and get to the top. But the only thing is, some parts of the rocks are really slippery, so you have to wear special shoes if you're gonna climb it. But it's a really cool experience. It's really fun. So if you ever have a chance to climb a waterfall, go for it. Okay, so next, when we get to the bottom, right here, if you think about it, the water is flowing down, and when it meets this water down here, it's gonna be splashing, right? So once again, let's take some white, and we're just gonna tap all along this line. You can just rotate the brush back and forth like that. Just rotate it and tap, and this should give you a splashing effect. And you can go a little higher too, because splashes aren't really always on the same level. You know, some droplets go higher, some go lower. So you want to have a nice splash like that. Nice variety. I know you guys are doing really good. Just keep going. You're gonna end up with a beautiful painting, I promise. Remember, no bad thoughts. It's just a simple waterfall. When you finish your splashes, you can actually just make a thin line where the black meets that blue. Just go all the way across. And you want to hold your brush like this, okay? Not like this, not like this. Hold it upright and just have the tip touching the canvas. And then you can continue to just put some lighter lines. You don't have to re-dip your brush. Just put some lighter lines, especially in the middle where your waterfall would be flowing. Just go back and forth. Add some little lines, the ripples in the water. You just want them thin. You don't really have to re-dip your brush, because this is better when you have just a little bit of paint. You can just have it fading out towards the bottom. Add a couple here and there to the sides. You can press a little harder in some places just to get a little more white. Just some thicker, rougher waters. Now, you can go ahead and wash out your brush again. Remember, just wiggle it in the water. And remember to dry it on your washcloth or your paper towel. So we're gonna take some green, not the dark green, the light green that we had before. And all in this green area, we're just gonna tap. And this is gonna give us some trees. And you wanna cover this whole top area with that green. Remember, this is the lighter green. And we're just gonna tap. Now this might seem strange, like how can tapping give you trees, but it's gonna work, I promise. This is just the texture of the leaves in the background. And we're just gonna keep tapping. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. And we can actually add some black in there too. Somewhere in the center right here. You can just tap and we'll blend that black in with the light green. And if you just keep tapping, you'll see it gets lighter. And this will just give us a contrast between the lighter and the darker areas. And it'll give us depth. Because if there's a forest up there, the further you go, the darker it's gonna get. So you could just tap, keep tapping. If you want, you can just add some more green over it, and that'll help it blend as well. You just want to have some darkness up there. And then we can take the light green and we can start bringing it down. Just put another layer over the sides of the rocks right here. On both sides. Remember, you just want to keep tapping. And you can go closer to the waterfall, or you can go further to the sides. You just want to keep tapping. Are you seeing it yet? Good. We want to do the other side as well. Remember, it's okay if some of that black shows, because that's just the rocks. It's okay if the white behind the black shows, because that's just some highlights in the texture of the rocks. Remember, there are no mistakes. So you just want to tap, and you can rotate your brush while you tap too, and that'll give you different shapes of your leaves. And now we can add some yellow in there. That'll just brighten up the front, the leaves that are closest to us. And that'll blend with the lighter green to kind of give us like a yellow-green color. And yellow-green is actually another tertiary color, because you need green, which is a secondary color, and yellow, which is a primary color. And when you mix those, you get yellow-green. So we're just brightening up just these trees at the front. You don't have to blend it out completely. See, I'm leaving some texture in there of the tapping. And this is always my favorite part. of painting or drawing. I love doing trees because trees are all different shapes, so you can't really mess it up. Remember, there are no mistakes. And that's especially when you're painting nature too. And you don't have to cover the green completely. You can leave some of that darker green in there. You can leave some of the yellow for highlight. It's up to you. It's your painting. It's however you want your forest or your plants, however you want them to look. Isn't that beautiful? I'm sure yours is too. I'm gonna keep adding some more to the top up here because I want these trees that are closer to me to be really bright. Remember, don't think it's too hard. Don't think you can't do it. It's really simple. All you need to do is tap. That's all we're doing right now. You could make your trees really tall, going off the canvas at the top. However you want it to be. I want mine to kind of enclose the waterfall. So I'm gonna put it in like an arc shape. Just around the waterfall. All I'm doing is adding more yellow every time. And it's still just blending together. To give all those different shades of green in there. And this is just making it look lighter. That's all the yellow does. And we put the darker green before because you need to have darkness to see the light, right? Now it's up to you. If you want, you can actually put some bushes down here too. And it's the same tapping motion, we're just using green. Maybe put some on this side. This side isn't left out. We're just tapping with the green. You could put as much as you want. And then we're just gonna add some yellow taps in there. Just to brighten it up a bit. If you want to add it just to the top, you can. Just to the top of your bushes. That's fine. You can even add some of that darker green to the bottom. That'll give it some nice variety of greens, different shades. And that really affects the illusion of where the light is hitting the bushes. So when the lighter parts are up here at the top, the light source is right above it. If the bottom was lighter, then it would look like there's some kind of light on the ground somewhere. So we have our bushes there. We can even connect them. Now this is kind of looking almost the same, right? Because we have a lot of green here and more green down there and blue in the middle, which is right next to green on the color wheel. So you can go ahead and wash out your brush. And we're actually going to take our little brush and we can add some little flowers into our trees. You just want to tap again. Just tap in like a circular motion. And I'm using red. You can use whatever color you want. I'm just putting some flowers here and there. And I'm going to go over them with white. See, they look like just some little pink flowers. I'm not covering the red completely. I'm just tapping some white in there. Because the light would be hitting the flowers as well. So there's going to be some darker parts and some lighter parts. I'm just going back and forth with the red and the white. Just tap, tap, tap. And add another color. Tap, tap, tap. And you can make your flowers bigger, smaller, however you want them. Put some flowers in the bushes down here. And this will tie it all together. Make it not all just one tone. See how many flowers you can get. You can add a lot, you can add a little bit. Remember, you can make them any color you want. If you want some orange flowers, you can add orange. Do you remember what two colors make orange? Red and yellow, right. Good job. What if we want some purple flowers? What two colors do we mix to get purple? Red and blue. Good job. You guys are so smart. just adding some little flowers, just a few more to the top. And remember, you don't have to add too much because you don't want to take away from your waterfall. Just go over them with white, brighten them up a bit. And we're just tapping. Yours don't have to be as spaced out as mine either. You can put them closer together, however you want them. Remember, there are no mistakes. It's your painting, so no one can tell you, don't put it there, or don't make them so big, or don't make them so small. It's however you want it. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 flowers. How many did you get? Awesome. So now there's one last thing that we need to do to add value to our painting. Does anyone know what that is? Your signature, right? So whenever you're done adding your flowers, go ahead and wash out your brush. And sign your painting. And I'm gonna keep the white because I feel like that's bright. And I'm just gonna put my signature or my initials right here in the middle between these two flowers. And now we're done. I wish I could see yours. So remember, we started off with a completely blank canvas, right? And you created this beautiful waterfall, this beautiful painting. You added your flowers, you made the water flow beautifully. You did all of that by yourself in your own style, your own unique style. And that should show you that anything that you want to do in your life, you can do it. Even if you've never painted before, you still did it. So anything you want to do, you can do it if you just put your mind to it and have a little faith in yourself. Now, we usually end our classes with our Paint with Faith song. So I'm going to teach you our song and then we'll sing it together. Are you ready? Good. So just repeat after me. I know I can paint what I want to paint. If I don't know the way, I can paint with faith. Great, now let's sing it together. Are you ready? Okay, I know I can paint what I want to paint. If I don't know the way, I can paint with faith. One more time. I know I can paint what I want to paint. If I don't know the way, I can paint with faith. Yay! Good job, everybody. You did really good today. I'm so proud of all of you. And remember, your life is a canvas. Paint it with faith.